An original podcast from podlatino.com.
She loved chalk dust. It clung to her fingertips, coated her skirts, drifted like smoke through the air. For 20 years, the classroom had been her stage and her sanctuary. Students remembered her voice long after they forgot the lessons. She could turn grammar into song, history into theater, literature into confession. Parents thanked her for giving their children more than grades. She gave them confidence, curiosity, courage. Teaching was not her job, it was her identity. Then came the whisper. A student, angry over a failed test, accused her of favoritism. Soon, another added claims of cruelty. None of it was true, but rumors spread faster than truth in the narrow halls of the school. Social media fueled the fire. Parents demanded answers. Administrators, wary of scandal, placed her on leave. The investigation dragged, impartial in name but poisoned in spirit. Though evidence cleared her, the damage was done. The district ended her contract quietly. She was no longer Ms. Alvarez, the teacher. She was just another casualty of suspicion. The silence was unbearable. Without her classroom, her days lost shape. She avoided the grocery store where former students worked, ashamed to see pity in their eyes. Friends called less. Colleagues turned distant. She slipped into isolation, days spent watching television she barely remembered, nights staring at ceilings that offered no answers. The voice once strong enough to fill a room of 30 children grew faint inside her chest. She tried other jobs, clerical work, retail, even temping in offices, but nothing fit. Each paycheck was a reminder of what she had lost. Each morning was heavy with the absence of children's voices. Depression pressed down until she almost believed the lies told about her. Almost. Her second chance came by accident. At a library one evening, she noticed a flyer. Adult literacy volunteers needed. She hesitated. Teaching adults? She had spent her life with children. She was not sure she had the patience, the method, the will. But something inside nudged her to call. The first night was awkward. The classroom was a basement room, no chalkboards, only donated books and a circle of plastic chairs. Her students were not children but grown men and women. Some were immigrants, others were lifelong residents who had slipped through cracks. They came with embarrassment hidden in their pockets. Some worked 2 jobs. Some never finished school. All carried the heavy burden of not knowing how to read. She began with letters, with sounds, with patience. Progress was slow. A man in his 50s struggled to sign his name. A woman brought her son's picture book and cried when she read aloud for the first time. Another confessed that he had faked his way through jobs, memorizing symbols, hiding his secret for decades. She listened, encouraged, and taught them to listen to themselves. Weeks turned to months. The basement filled with laughter and small victories. The day one student read a full page without stumbling, the others applauded as if she had won a medal. When another wrote his first sentence, he framed it like artwork. Slowly, she felt her own spirit rise with theirs. She was teaching again. Not for grades, not for tests, but for life. Word spread. More adults joined. She expanded lessons, created reading groups, organized evenings where students read to each other's children. The local newspaper featured the program. Her name, once tarnished, reappeared, but now linked to hope, not scandal. She realized her voice had never left her. It had only been waiting for a place that needed it more. Years later, she stood at a podium, addressing graduates of her literacy class. The hall was filled with families. Students, some gray-haired, held certificates with trembling hands. Tears streaked faces as they read speeches they had written themselves. She listened, proud, humbled, restored. They thanked her, but she knew the truth. They had given her back her purpose. They had returned her voice. She still missed the chalk dust, but now her hands were covered with something greater. The ink of signatures written for the first time, the pages of books read aloud, the strength of lives transformed. She discovered that teaching was never about the building or the paycheck. It was about unlocking doors that had been closed too long. Her second chance was not a return to the classroom she lost. It was the discovery of a new classroom, one without walls, without grades, without limits. And there, her voice was louder than ever.